All right. Anyway, quick spiel about Ahri versus Casson, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Um. Okay. So Casson's just like it's a lane every mid should know how to play against, and even I obviously could know how to do better because like that's just one of those really challenging ones. Because Casson is the anti mage mid. You know, he's built like to counter you, almost like Talon is, and so there are kind of tricks to playing against him. That's a little bit of why I wanted to review this, just so I could like talk to someone else about it and maybe like have my input heard. But a lot of it is just prediction and knowing how to use this kit against him. So hopefully this will be an interesting game.
It sounds reasonable. Shen Elise matchup's interesting. I'm pretty sure Elise is supposed to crush him. Oh shit, let me slow this down a little bit.
Yeah, and Flask Pot Ward is just a really standard R start. Especially because against Caston you want to harass a lot really early. Like that's a great start because it gives you a lot of extra room to maneuver.
And on the other side of the spectrum, I don't really see any other potential start for Cassidon. I mean, I guess you could do some cool stuff with like fairy charms and a bunch of pots, but I kind of like this start the best, especially
Yeah.
since he's kind of just trying to survive to level 6.
Yeah, like against Caston, your advantage really kicks in before level 6, and so that's one of the reasons why I like Flask is because you have to be harassing relatively heavily. I think this game I didn't do it as heavily just because he pushed pretty hard, and I was hoping for a gank or something. But you in theory you want to really harass him, get his health low, and make him like worry before level 6.
Looks like he's leaving lane for some reason. Now he's back. I think did he just place his ward up there? Yeah. Small things like that help the jungler. Just point it out to them. So like if you see him leave lane real fast for some seemingly no reason, it's probably because he's warding. Just check tab and just tell it to your jungler.
And I'm a little bit late placing this ward, but because I saw Lee Sin, I knew I had a little bit of extra time.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. I think as long as you place it before the 3 minute mark, or you as long as you're super cautious when you do place it around the 3 minute mark, it's okay.
Yeah, the other thing is I was pretty pushed onto my turn before I placed it, and if I'm being pushed for like 3 minutes, then there's not really big reason for me to place it beforehand.
Yeah, I like that you roamed up and you didn't chase for too long. Some people just chase that for too long. There's like no potential way you're getting that lease in there. You just gotta keep farming.
Yeah, I mean it's good to help your jungler. It's good to try to have map presence, but you also have to know where your limit is. And especially before level 6, like if you go to another lane, you could really screw yourself over. So you really have to be careful.
Yep, and that's the thing. Some people roam incorrectly. They just like get behind too far, they neglect experience, or they just roam it, or they force roams and stuff. You just like it's the same kind of thing with like ganking as a jungler. You just want to roam with it for a good reason. I feel like one of the advantages of the Ahri versus Cast and Master Hub, you could probably defend them from roaming pretty easily with your reasonable pushing capabilities and your ult. I don't know if that's true or not, but you could probably follow up
No,
with that
it's
if it
it's
is.
it's true because Ari is a good lane pusher and also she's a good roamer, so she can kind of match him. It's hard because she doesn't have an advantage over him in either of those areas, and Caston is probably a better roamer than you are, and he's also a stronger in lane. But you do like you can keep up with him, so like you have the ability to beat him if you just play better, which is nice.
Oh, you got shit on.
Yeah, I have a habit of underestimating people before level 4, and honestly, I think I was just a little distracted. I remember I was like looking at top, but it happens. We make mistakes. At least I
Especially
managed to get out of it.
weird champions like Cass. Just because like they're not really that much of a threat doesn't mean they can't grind you down. Which is kind of what happened. He put you in execute range. Or what are you at, like 50% health or something when he started that onslaught? That little, yeah. So you just still gotta be wary of their potential, like, I mean, he's casting those cues at you for a reason.
Yeah, that's the thing is, you really have to be careful. Even if you have an advantage at a certain level or a certain time in the game, you really have to make sure you don't throw that away because the advantages are never as big as they seem to be.
Hmm.
And, like I just wasn't paying enough attention to Caston. I think I was like looking top lane or something. And then I took like a turn hit, which that's a big deal. And then after that, I just let him get like a free hit on me and catch up to me. If I just hadn't taken the free turn hit to begin with, which like started the whole thing,
This is
then
a
I
really weird
probably wouldn't
gank
have
on
taken it.
Rim. Sorry to interrupt. This is just like a really weird one. It's like there's really nothing there for that Lee Sin to do. Just an
Yeah.
example of crazy aggressive Lee Sin.
And you also notice that I'm really not afraid to queue through minions to hit Kassadin. A lot of people, because they're used to champions like Nidalee and Kennen, they're gonna stay behind minions and think they're safe. But you're not. You really have to be careful against Ahri, even if you're behind minions, because
Hmm.
like I'm just not afraid to push my lane. If I have my ult, I'll be safe.
The only downside is it's gonna like you said it's gonna push, but you have a ward to cover for it. So and you're also about to get your ult. So yeah, actually you have your ult. Excuse me. Sorry. Is that what you just said? I just zoned out for a second. I feel like you just said that.
Um, Not exactly.
Sorry, I'm kind of eating right now. I hope it's not coming through the mic too. I'm trying to like make it not.
it's fine.
Is it coming through the mic? Because I have to stop doing that if it is.
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. These micro trades really are what laning comes down to. Just forcing them out of lane there. And you can see it's a 7-minute, 30-second mark, meaning blue time for both sides. That's why Kassadin left. That's why Ahri's leaving right now. Um,
And you'll notice that Cassie, he's gonna start doing his ult like QE combo on me now.
mhm, as he
That's
should
where
be.
this game gets really interesting because that's what Caston does. What you do against that is you want to predict his ult and taunt him like as he ult Qs you, because if you do that, you're gonna win the trade anyway. And
Mhm.
a lot of people don't know to predict that, which makes the lane really hard because then you're just gonna come in and get out. But if you predict his movements, which I'll start doing more later, I think, then like you can really win trades, which is really important.
I can't say I'm really sure he used that. He just used like his ult. I don't know. I guess he just last hitting. It doesn't really matter because he's a blue. Oh, well done. Right now he just doesn't really have enough mana to do a reasonably strong combo either. People really underestimate the W of Kassadin too. It's one thing to be said. I don't know why Shen ulted
Yeah.
in there.
But you see, even there, like that was his fault because he didn't Q me. He ulted in and like didn't have enough mana, and
Yeah.
so you have to be cognizant of these things. And that was also just not a great channel because I couldn't do anything to follow up on that.
Yeah, and I mean you're against a Kassadin. Or is he just gonna ult out? Looks like he's dead as hell there. Good gank by Nautilus. Kind of like if you're a jungler, you wanna be like monitoring how Kassadin's playing. Um, and in this case, he's using his ult to harass, especially at very
Yeah,
low like mana. He has low mana the entire time, so he can't really afford a second ult. So it's like for a champion like Nautilus, he's just a sitting duck. So good looks by Nautilus. We'll
yeah, that
see
was
though.
a good look by Nautilus, and that's the other thing is I knew my jungler was right there, and so like I'm predicting Caston's grass, and I'm taunting him before he even jumps, like
Hmm.
so that way it's gonna hit him before I'm silenced, and if you do that, then it basically shuts down Caston's harass. So
Yeah.
it's a really important thing to do in mid.
And the other thing is your like kind of aggressive-ish playstyle doesn't really telegraph your gank at all. The fact that you've already been poking him down that whole time, kind of staying in his range the whole time. Um, he didn't really see the gank coming.
Yeah, no, it was a good job by Nat. Also, this cast is really, I mean, it's not the best cast. I have to be honest. Like I've seen much better, but that being said, it's a lane that mids have to know how to go against because this is like the mid counter. If you first pick a squishy caster like Ari, you're gonna get countered with caster, so you have to know how to play against them.
I like that you started to shift down towards him because this is the thing that's gonna be probably the core of this matchup is where the hell is Cassidy going, and do I want to follow him or do I want to just push?
Yeah, like
Um,
in this type of match, bot lane is going to be a deciding factor because that's where mid's going to gank. And so how
yep.
mid ganks bot and how bot reacts to mid ganking are going to be like the two big things.
Yeah, I agree with that. 'Cause if I'm the Cass, I'm not really looking to gank a Shin. But I am looking to gank, slip behinds of Varus and what is it, Lulu or something? No, not Lulu. I'm an idiot. What the fuck? Sona, sorry. Sona's really easy to blow up.
Yeah, also, Ari is also a strong roamer, and I would be looking to gank bot too. The only reason why I might be a little more hesitant in this matchup is because against Cassidy, who is a stronger roamer, it's probably good to push hard and keep him in that lane where I can safely 1v1 him. So it's all just it's all based on the matchup basically.
Peace out. like you had good awareness of where your jungler was there. Use your ult pretty effectively, two quick ones to get like in a pretty safe spot, and then proceeded to rape. Um, Part of the reason that that works right there is Lee Sin's level 6, and I don't know if he's ganking too much or what, but he's just super weak relative to the level 8 Nautilus and to the, what, level 9 Ahri? Level 9 Ahri. So, he just really didn't bring much to that fight at all.
Yeah, the other thing with that gank was, I messed up with my first ult. I shouldn't have gone into the wall,
Yeah,
and
I was
that,
a little bit confused about that, actually.
but it wasn't terrible because like ultimately I ended up just using that for damage, and my second one was my position, and my third one was to a back in. But you really have to be mindful of your position if you're Ahri, and
Mhm.
ulting out second.
Especially against a
Out,
Kassadin. Oh, sorry about that if they're done.
that's fine.
Especially against a Kassadin that can just silence you after one and you're just going to be sitting there like, fuck.
Yeah. And if my jungler wasn't there, I wouldn't have been so aggressive without a ward. I would have just immediately ulted out and been safe. But
Hmm.
because my jungler's there, I know I can get back and we can do a 2v2 pretty safely.
I should have fast forwarded a little bit.
Also, if you look at builds, Cassian was going straight Dorns. Now he's trying to build up, I would guess, a catalyst for like a Rod of Aegis or
Yeah,
something.
that's what it looks like.
Um, it works. Me and Ahri, though, the reason I'm going Rylai's Haunting Guys is because Haunting Guys is really strong early, and if I know I'm going to build it later anyway, I might as well build that instead of Dorns. And Rylai's is just such a strong item overall with Ahri, especially against an assassin like Cassidy, who's going to make your life really miserable.
Hmm.
Rylai's gives you health to survive, but it also gives you like kiting ability against melee. It gives you, it gives you AP, it gives you health. It's just a great item.
Real fast, whenever you see a jungler come middle, it's usually because their roamer, their middle is going to gank somewhere. So I wasn't looking just now, so he's probably about to show up somewhere. And look, he's about to show up bottom. I actually wasn't looking at the map just now, but it's just like a sign always. So when you see that, just be thinking that the gank's coming elsewhere, and it is. And I like that you're going to sweep this up, because this is actually going to be like a long fight here, them trying to grind down Nautilus here. And especially with your ult up, this is just going to be GG. They don't even have a tower to hide
Yeah.
under. Probably turn
And
this
like,
into at least a broken.
obviously I know Cassian was going bot once I saw Lee there
Oh,
doing it
nice.
1v without Cass. And once I see these two really low, it's like just play a prediction game because the second I ult in, they can't do anything.
Especially since the Lee Sin is just so weak that he can't follow up whatsoever. Like that's what allows you to chase there, even without your Nautilus coming.
Yeah.
Um,
And ordinarily, I really try not to ult over the first wall because that's just wasting one of my free ults.
mhm.
But if you know you don't really need all three of them and like you're just trying to get there, it's something you can definitely do. This like once I got there, I was easily able to kill Lulu, and then I flash Eve for Cassidy. So it's totally worth it for the double if I blow an ult just to get over a wall.
Mhm. Interesting that you'll see that Caston actually doesn't have the blue right now, so I don't know what the hell happened there. Did he just lose it?
I don't think he even lost it. I think maybe his Lee Sin stole it or something.
Huh.
Or no, he
That's
has
very,
it
that's
now,
very
doesn't
odd.
he?
I don't think he had it now. It's just click normal. I didn't see. Unless it's hiding under his. Oh, it is. It's hiding under
Yeah,
his
he has it.
animation. Yeah, sorry. He's
Um,
all voidy. You can't fucking tell.
yeah. Also, just quick build note. Sorry, I talk a lot about builds, but Rylai Torment is just like one of the best synergetic two items in the game. Um, you get so much for those two items. It's like building a Warmogs plus getting all the damage, plus the slow, plus the ability power, plus the penetration, and
Mm.
especially in Ahri, like it's just a great two items.
So there's something that I just confirmed just now. Actually, wasn't sure of before. So Ari's all little damage charges don't go if they're out of line of sight, even if they're in the area, right? That's what just happened,
Yeah,
I think.
and
That
that was my bad with that ult is I thought Lulu was dead, but so I switched to Ezreal too early. I should have followed up on Lulu and then switched to Ezreal.
Mhm.
And I wasn't gonna kill Ezreal, so even though I switched to Ezreal, I really shouldn't have. Um, Lulu was my big target there.
How is Elise losing to Shen? I guess Nautilus like, was shutting her down. Good job by
Yeah,
Nautilus.
our Nautilus is a much better jungler than Lee, which really helps. And in terms of me versus Cass, I'm just outplaying him, which helps.
Look, Lee only has 48 CS at 16 minutes. It's so bad. It's just so far behind. Not a lot he can do either.
Yeah. And another thing with me like playing mid this game is that I'm trying to have map presence, so I'm trying to make those gank spot and trying to like defend dragon and such. But my big priority is also just like keep my lead over Caston, make sure he doesn't snowball, and don't forget about my lane and like me being ahead of the game.
I was about to say, I'm surprised you weren't going in there just now. You can see how much that silence just devastates Ahri. Like, what single silence there just makes it so Caston can get out. Like, no other champion probably would be able to get out of that.
Yeah, that's why Caston's just I guess I might have been able to get there, but like it happens.
Pretty good though, even though you couldn't get the cast and you still got the map control and the dragon control. It's nice having that Shen top, especially that because he's winning. Just creates tons of map pressure. Yeah, nice. Looks like you're going into a rod, which seems like mandatory at this point.
Yeah, and at this point of the game, it really helps us having all that map control and pressure. But there are still kind of some threats on the team, like Kass is still doing pretty well, as is still doing well, and our Varus isn't doing any better than us. So, like that's where, because I'm 5-1, even though we're ahead, if I don't do well, then like our team could easily lose. Because I'm so fed, my mistakes are really going to matter at this point.
Yeah, you have the most responsibility on the team right now. Especially like Shen. I mean, Shen has a lot of responsibility too, but he's a lot less fragile than you are. Small mistakes will get you killed. Small mistakes, you can just, run away from.
Yeah, and especially when they have a Caston, like that's, even if you beat him early, you still have to watch out because he's Caston.
Look at how Ahri's keeping her distance at this fight. She's still trying to remain useful, and it's a little bit different because Caston came in there. Caston just kind of sacrificed himself there for that. But she's like doing a good job of staying around the periphery of the fight and not really, even though she's low, still trying to contribute to the fight. I think that's something a lot of people fuck up.
Yeah, people forget just because you're not an AD carry doesn't mean you shouldn't have positioning if you're squishy. If you're an AP carry and like you're gonna die fast, then you really have to stay on the outside and do what you can from there. If anything, it's better with an AP carry position far out, because then like you're more useful not being there every second. You only need to be there every like 10 seconds with your skills.
Yeah, because once you use our abilities, they're on cooldown. Your auto attacks aren't lated.
And to some extent, like that was a flash ult by Caston. You can't really do much.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because I think you're actually like, they put everything they had onto killing you, and you managed to weasel on out. So, well, not everything, but just about everything. All the big things seem to be on you. So you kind of like did a good job baiting the fight there. I think the net was kind of evenish, or did you guys get one kill up on them?
I think we got one up. I might be wrong. No, it was good. Even then, I was still a little bit too far up to begin with, considering I didn't have that brush warded. But because I'm playing Ahri, I can get away with that a little.
But it's okay, because Ahri.
Yeah, like I play really aggressive Ahri, and I position myself too aggressively, but I can get away with it because I'm super fed. I'm Ahri, and my team was there. We just didn't do a very good job on that fight.
Then you have that Rylai's, be the kite boss.
Yeah, like Rylai's plus Leandry's, that's basically a Warmogs right there.
It's interesting that Sona's like the front line here, leading the troops when they're all missing. Pretty ballsy. Sona should be floating back a little bit more, like more in a position to lay an ult over their over Ahri or over Varus if they hard engage on them. But I mean, it's not the biggest deal. You guys have some pretty awesome wave clear. Their wave clear is actually pretty weak other than Ezreal.
The problem though now is like Caston's basically almost caught up to me. I still have 30 CS on him, but other than that, we're actually pretty even right now.
Yup. But your big factor is your Nautilus and your Shen are just crazy strong relative to their counterparts.
Yeah, like the rest of my team's doing much better, and part of that's, I can't even take credit for that because I didn't really run that hard for the rest of my team.
It's not a good matchup for it.
But to some extent, I also took pressure off just by being, like Ahri and by doing well in fights.
Good look there by Nautilus. And good taunt by you. Oh, good follow-up. That was played
Oh,
perfectly
is this
by
turret
you
dive?
guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, it's coming. This
Like
is well.
replay turret. There was something really cool there when
Yeah,
it happened.
do you want me to back up and slow it down?
Hang on, I still have to see it because there's a delay.
I just like backed up through it. Sorry about that.
What I want to point out is on um there's the ult where I went from Ezreal to the left, and like it's gonna come up on the stream in a second. But the taunt was going Kass, like, and from there he's just dead because we literally just threw down 3 ults on him at once and like everything else. Ezreal right now is my target. He's squishy. He's their carry. I gotta go for him, and I'm doing a ton of damage, so why not? At this point though, Ezreal, he flashes out. He has his barrier. You see me throw out my Q. It's not gonna hit unless I ult like to reposition it, and a lot of people don't think about that. You can to reposition your Q, which is actually a great idea because then they can't dodge that. And on top of that, you can like bring it into someone else as well, while also doing your ult damage and repositioning yourself. So that's like using your ult to reposition your Q is actually a really powerful combo.
I'm gonna go back and just look at it one more time so people can see it after hearing your explanation of it.
Yeah, it was just like
So
that from Ezreal to the rest of his team that got me like the triple.
there
That
it is
was
right there.
um, it's just multitasking. It's like thinking about all the different like angles and factors, and it's really important with Ari.
It's funny. Initially, when you mentioned that, I thought you were talking about while it was like before sending it out, but you're talking about on its return trip,
Yeah, on the
which is
return
pretty
trip.
cool.
And also, that was a pretty ballsy play. I was pretty deep there by myself, or not by myself, but like relatively isolated.
Hmm
It worked. We're ahead. It worked because Caston was dead, and it worked because I have a semi-tanky build, and I'm also like,
Yeah, and Shen's up, so I mean, all elements are there. Shen's up with his ult. Very easy Baron, very mandatory Baron here. Although it looks like Nautilus is getting a little bit a little bit getting a little bit close. I don't know why Shen isn't coming though. It would be like you guys would have it there if Shen came. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Oh god. You guys actually might just have given up Baron to them. They're probably not going to do it. It would be a very aggressive, potentially very great play by them. But they don't seem like... Actually, they're not a very good Baron team at all. So, probably wouldn't even work. Doesn't look like they're in the Baron killing business. It looks like you're getting Azonias, which is going to complement your aggressive playstyle. See, like one of my problems when I play APs is like I'm always like, how am I going to work in the death cap? But you're doing more of a utility build, which actually makes a lot more sense for your playstyle.
um, yeah, I agree with you. The other thing with the zonies is that when I'm like 8-2 and I have a fair amount of CS, zonies is just a good idea. I'm worth a lot of gold. I'm playing really aggressively, and zonies it lets you make a lot of plays, which is great.
Hmm Like things like that last play, even though like I think it was pretty safe overall, it's even safer if you have Azonias.
Yeah.
Also, you can bait team fights with it. Like if you had Azonias that one time when you were doing that disengage, and Casson ended up getting you anyway. If you had Azonias there, you would just crush them so hard. They blow everything they have on trying to get you, and you just Zonias it off, shut it off. Looks like they're just prepping to do the same exact thing as last time and wave clear here.
Yeah. Also, you notice I don't have any boots right now. I tend to literally just forget about my boots, especially when I'm playing someone like Ari who doesn't really need them that bad.
See,
Um,
I was meaning to ask you about that, especially because the Casson actually rushed tier 2 boots. And I think that's
yeah,
pretty
so
cool with Casson.
that's kind of a style thing. The reason I didn't get boots is because I wasn't planning on roaming that hard this game. Like often if I play Ari, I will roam relatively hard, but I don't have to. Like I'm beating Caston in lane, and that's where I'm really getting fed and I'm doing well. And then fights start almost immediately after. There's no reason for me to really get boots and roam.
It's a nice play.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I kind
agree. I mean, all the movement you really need is just short-term movement, whereas boots are more like long-term movement.
Yeah, I
Just like
kind of didn't really
repositioning
need to
yourself.
walk up to their like 2-3 turret and tank both towers, but
But it was
whatever.
cool as hell.
There's a certain point.
Style points, is what we're gonna call it. Wait, what? Where'd you die? Casting got you?
Yeah, Casson got me. It was a good ult.
Let me just go back to shame you real fast. This is why you don't recall there. I'm just kidding. I did that earlier today and died
Yeah.
yesterday to me. It's funny. I was gonna say, these guys gotta get out now. Looks like the
Yeah,
message
I
deletes
came.
everyone killed.
That was just me being derpy for a second. But luckily I was able to call out Cass on that afterwards in all chat, which just makes it okay.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, but my bad.
Ooh, according to
The
Cassidy, you're getting carried.
other thing is, if Ezreal had his ult up, he could have also just hit me with that. So
Hmm. Not to mention, at this point in the game, this bush is warded a lot, especially when you're putting a lot of pressure on tower. It looks like it's actually not right now. Maybe it was earlier, but it's a pretty common ward spot.
yeah. Another thing, just quickly about Ahri though, specifically, is I like Ahri because she also has a lot of versatility and she can do a lot of just different builds and different like types of play. A lot of people play very, like assassin Ahri and get Deathfire Grasp and just roam a lot. Basically what Caston's doing this game. But what's interesting is because this game, I know I'm outplaying Cass in middle. Like I don't even need the Deathfire Grasp. I can just go, for my utility build or whatever you want to call it, but be like my bruiser AP carry instead of go for straight assassin damage.
Would you say that DFG is better for roaming, or no,
Yeah,
than Raw was?
I would say DFG is probably better for roaming, and it's better. It's better against mids that you can assassinate quickly. Like if I'm playing against a Lux or Nidalee, I will almost always get a Death Dart Grasp because it lets me 100 to 0 without blue buff, without anything. Just going up to them and doing it easily. So it's a good item.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people like actually forget about Kassadin's passive. It's actually pretty substantial if you haven't read it. I know we were talking about it earlier, but
Yeah,
here it is at the
the
bottom
map.
left corner. 15% reduced magic damage alone is pretty incredible, but it's converted into attack speed, which isn't the biggest deal, but in a one-on-one situation, it's actually a huge deal because it synergizes with his W, which actually, ever since they changed it, it actually hits pretty damn hard. Um,
Yeah, like, you really can't underestimate backcasting in mid lane, and so you really have to know like what his limit is and what your limit is, so you can trade in and just come out ahead every time.
mhm. Good old
And
Priscilla there.
and building health really helps because that way he can't burst you too quick.
Hmm. I agree. I do like sturdier builds on AP carries. Looks like yeah, just gonna push this in. That's a pretty good game. It's really weird to see a game that has a Kassadin and an Ahri middle, and they both kind of just neutralize each other to the point where neither of them roam.
Yeah.
You just don't see that often.
And I think that's more kind of my play style is because I usually do roam quite a bit
Hmm.
here. But if I know that I'm playing against a champion who does it a little bit better, why would I really risk it?
Yeah.
Cassidy can really he can get fed or he can get his team fed. Like if I already have the lead, I might as well just keep Cassidy at mid and keep my lead at mid.
I would just say the only reason would be if you're already winning mid and you can, and someone like that, the enemy team is winning bottom, then that's a pretty good reason to roam. Or
Yeah.
if your
Um,
jungler's been ineffective, but Nautilus has been super effective all game, so there's not really a reason to replace him as the ganker, or like because the way most people like at lower ELO, it's a little bit easier to roam because most people don't like counter your roam by pushing, but in like mid ELO and like high ELO, they're gonna counter your roam by shoving. So usually the jungler has to neutralize it unless it's a well timed roam or like a roam like TF's ult that you can just do in like a second and not really give them the opportunity to really push.
yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And I think in this game, part of the reason why I thought it was cool to see is just because Caston is supposed to be such a big threat in mid, and often he can be. But I feel like if you know how to play against him, then in a 1v1 situation, you can actually really just beat him. And
Hmm.
once you beat him, he's not going to come back unless he roams. And so that's why, like, if I don't have to roam and, he's only going to come back by doing it, that's why I'm basically keeping the matchup 1v1 in mid. And it's just kind of interesting to see the dynamic because it really changes.
I was nice you answering the questions on stream. I was about to say. It's hard for me to do it while I have things maximized. But cool. Do you have anything else to say?
I think just one more general Ahri thing for any Ahri players out there. It's so important to know how to use your ult both for damage and for positioning, and even just multitasking with it. You know, like you can do a lot of cool things. You can do that play I did on the tower against Ezreal, where like you position the Q as it comes back in. But honestly, that doesn't come up that much. It's kind of just for show. Like the thing that's really useful to know how to do are things like when Kass is jumping on you and like Lee Sin's ganking, so you ult to do damage, but then you're also like at a good position after your ult's done, and just kind of multitasking, being like, okay, like if I ult here, I'm gonna hit them with my ult, but I'm also going to be in a safe position to do damage, and so you have to kind of think about these things as you use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I hope whoever's watching enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it a lot because I rarely play in the middle, so or at least in ranked. So watching it happen, which at a pretty equivalent level, is interesting. Uh, Also watching you make the Cassidy pretty mad in chat is also fun. So thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Have fun.